be the same. That's just the way it is. Oh yeah. Let's make some changes.
Incredible. I'm just like blown away.
Good evening, Assemblymember Gipson, family and friends, Charles R. Jr. University. I'm Ebony Miller, class of 2018 class president. And I am Maria Espinal, class of 2019 president. Assemblymember Gipson was elected in November 2014 to represent California's 64th Assembly District. That includes the communities of Carson, Compton, Gardenia, Harbor Gateway, Linwood, North Long Beach, Rancho Dominguez, South Los Angeles, Torrance, Watts, Willowbrook, and Wilmington. There's a lot.
Assemblymember Gipson currently serves as Assembly Democratic Caucus Chair, responsible for driving the legislative decision-making process for the Majority Caucus, address statewide issues, and hold weekly meetings to discuss and set the caucus's priorities. Mr. Gipson was appointed in 2016 and reappointed in 2017 by Speaker Anthony Rendon to his leadership position.
He's also a member of several standing assembly committees, including Aging and Long-Term Care, Business and Professions, Governmental Organization, Insurance, Revenue and Taxation, and chair of the Select Committee of Infectious Disease and High-Risk Disadvantaged Communities.
In 2015, Governor Jerry Brown approved 4 bills authored by Assemblymember Gipson that improves the quality of education, expanding access to health care, addressing homelessness, and humanizing public safety in our communities.
Continuing his path to public service, Assemblymember Gipson began his second term in office by authoring legislation to close a deadly loophole in the California Penal Code, provide internet-related services for foster and incarcerated youth, and establish a working group to bring back career technical education for K through 12. He was also successful in securing $11.3 million for Compton Community College on the heels of their new accreditation to support the college's transition into an independent institution.
As chair of the Assembly Select Committee on Infectious Disease and High-Risk Disadvantaged Communities, Mr. Gipson continues to lead the effort towards developing a statewide plan of 0 new infectious diseases, 0 deaths, and 0 stigma in California, known as Getting to Zero campaign.
Additionally, and along with bipartisan effort, Assembly Gipson was able to help spearhead a comprehensive and historical cap-and-trade package that will extend the program to 2030, along with air quality provisions that seek to address emissions from multiple sources that are hurting our community's public health. As you see, he's also not another brick in the wall.
So thank you so much for coming. Both of our classes signed this for you as a token of our appreciation. So you can look at that there. There you go. Thank you so much.
Without further ado, Assemblymember Gipson.
I'm speechless. Out of all the accolades that I've received since I've been elected, Dr. Beers, I can find it nowhere that I've ever received the kind of not only welcome, the kind of response that I've received here today. Let me say this, that my work is rough. Just today, I had to counsel a member of the State Assembly who has to make a decision that I think will be made public very soon, in the next 20, 40, 48 hours. And so I came here today with a very heavy heart. Because leadership costs. Some people think that leadership is glamorous and glitz and all those kinds of things, which it has its place in time, but also it has a place in time where you feel wounded, you feel helpless. Sometimes you feel like throwing in a towel. And everything that we're going through as a country, as a state, as Americans, is troubling to me. But I have received a renewing in my spirit just this moment by seeing each and every one of you in this room. You lifted me higher than I don't think anyone else could today. I appreciate each and every one of you for allowing me to stand on your shoulders today to make it possible for tomorrow. And you just don't know how you bless me. While I was standing here a few moments ago, I was saying, Mom and Dad, I hope you're looking down, and I hope you're proud of me. It makes me feel so good to have been born in this community. That's right. Yeah. In Watts. To come back home and serve this community, it's amazing beyond measure for me. Because my job is not just the title of an assembly member and all the accolades that go along with it, but it's really about the people that I serve. It's about making sure that they're uplifted each and every day. It's making sure that they have the audacity to hope and to dream that even though we go through things today, that tomorrow is going to be better than yesterday. And let me read to you my favorite quote. And it's really my why. Your life begins to end the moment you start being silent about the things that matter. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. We will have to repent in this generation, not merely for the victorious words and action of the bad people, but of the appalling silence of the good people. There comes a time that silence is a form of betrayal. That's right. That's right. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Today, again, I'm humbled just to be here. I'm struggling trying to figure out where to begin now, because you guys set this bar so high for me. And I guess I'm going to start in this area where I represent 500,000 people. I hope to be able to touch as many of the 500,000 people that I possibly can while in this office. I represent Watts, Willowbrook, where I was born and raised, Compton, Carson, Wilmington, North Long Beach, Linwood, some of Gardena, and some of Torrance and Harbor Gateway. I represent the 6th Forest District in the entire state of California. If you turn on the news, something may be going on in Los Angeles area, chances are it's taking place right here in my district. Where people, when was elected, the unemployment rate was 11.9% interest. 11.9% unemployment rate. Today it stands at 6.1% unemployment. One may say, well, that's a major accomplishment. I would simply say my work is still not done. Until we create a job for every man and woman that wants to have the ability to go and work for him or herself. Making sure that kids can still play in the front yard without being fearful of gangs and drugs and bullets ringing out in their community. Want to make sure that our seniors don't have to make a decision. Don't have to make a decision in the United States of America to choose between prescription medication or put food on the table. Those are decisions that we should not have, our seniors should not have to make. But they're making them right here. Not having access to affordable health care. I want to make sure in this community, not only this community, but also California, where we don't have to struggle for water in this state. We have people right now in California, did you hear what I said? In California, who cannot take showers when they want to. They are being brought in water and portable showers. And either you're a Wednesday shower or a Thursday shower. We're living in 2017, and we're not talking about a third world country. We're talking about the sixth economy in the world right here in California. But these are situations that people are going through, my brothers and my sisters, because I am my brother's keeper in California, in Northern California. That's alarming to me, and it's troubling to me. When we have a lady standing outside of one of our healthcare facilities who was just told that she could not get her insulin, something going on with her insurance, and then one of my members of my team heard about it, asked the question, "Are you okay?" She said no, and she began to tell that individual, my team member, what was going on, and she said, "Come with me." And she got on her cell phone and called the insurance company, representing my office, because I sit on the insurance committee in Sacramento on the Assembly side. And within hours, she received the approval to get her insulin. It shouldn't have to be that way. Come on now. It should not have to be that way. The work that each and every one of you are doing, I want to commend you, because you're going to be the ambassadors of hope. Not only hope, but also change. Because you are going to, once you achieve this goal, it's going to cause an awakening in your spirit to simply say this is more than just a job. Because you're going to come up against people, individuals, who are at their last straw. And you are going to be the only person that will give them the hope that they need by providing the experience, the skill set that you are now being prepared to do to help this community. And for those of you who are from this community, I want to challenge each and every one of you to give back to this community like you've never given to this community before. Don't just get and leave and don't give back. That's right. And if you do, I pray that you never sleep a day and night. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you never sleep, you never rest, until you give back to the community that has given to you, or to this institution that has given to you. A few weeks ago, I was at my elementary school, just trying to figure out what I can do. Why? Because at elementary school, they whooped my ass. They made sure I didn't embarrass my family, my family's name. They gave of me. and they want to name something after me. No, I want to make sure that whatever you need, that we get the resources in order to build it, to make it happen for the next generation. My junior high school, I went back to them, and in my high school, I went back to them. My junior college, which is Los Angeles Southwest College, the university I graduated from as well. What can I do because you gave to me? And I would not be here. I would not be here if it had not been for a village that raised this child. And so the work that you are embarking upon, that you have invested your time and energy in, I just want to encourage each and every one of you. It's important. And let me just go a little step further, if I may. Not only do I chair the Assembly Democratic Caucus, which is 55 members in California, on the Assembly side, I'm responsible for them raising money and making sure we hold a supermajority so we can put forth a progressive agenda, an agenda that other states can follow after, because yes, California has been the trendsetter, California has led the way, and other states have followed California. We have written the narrative when it comes down to progressive policy in this country. And I guess that's the reason why number 45 is attacking us. By putting forth a tax plan that hurts progressive states, the states that he didn't win during election day, because he didn't win California. And I'm not being political, this is something that already happened. And so therefore he's going to try to do everything he can to penalize us and punish Californians. And so we as a state has to figure out how do we withstand these attacks through this tax plan that will have irreparable damage when it comes down to health care in California. Remember, they tried to do away with the Affordable Care Act that some people call Obamacare. Well, we defeated them to make sure they didn't have enough votes. So they decided to put into this tax plan, cutting Medicaid and Medi-Cal. That's going to hurt the most vulnerable individuals in our community. The individuals that you will one day have to treat and take care of, they want to hurt those individuals. That's criminal. That's wrong. And for me, who not only chair the Assembly Democratic Caucus, but also I chair the infectious disease and high-risk disadvantaged communities. I chair that particular committee. Why was that important for me to chair that committee? And Speaker Tony Atkins, when she was a speaker, named me as the chair of that committee. And then Anthony Rendon, when he became speaker, reappointed me to be the chair of that committee. Why? It's because of the work that I did when I was the chair of positive imagery, with Dr. Ronald Beaver, who's here, who created and founded Positive Imagery Foundation, an organization that deals with HIV and AIDS in the African American and Latino community. And me to continue that work, we've had hearings throughout the entire state of California, getting to 0 new infectious cases in California. Why is that important? Because African Americans are the ones who have the highest amount of cases around HIV and AIDS, not only in California, but also in the country. And second is Latinos as well. I told during World AIDS Day at Carson Community Center, I used to know more people who were dying from cancer. Now I know more people that's dying from AIDS. We have preventative drugs, we have modern technology, medicine that we didn't have 10, 20, and 30 years ago. So when we talk about getting to 0 new infectious cases, we can do that work together. We can do that. We can slow this epidemic down so that individuals can live a long, prosperous, and healthy life. And you will one day touch those same individuals. That's why I force doctors. We have any doctors in the room? I'm forcing y'all to do the right thing. Because we have doctors who know someone who's living a high-risk lifestyle, but yet will refuse to give them the most latest information that's on the market so that they can live a long, prosperous life. And so I had to create a bill that forces doctors to do that work, to make sure that you don't just release a patient who's living a high-risk lifestyle out the door and not give them information. Now it's the law you have, it's the law of California that will mandate you to follow the law, to give that male or female information about PrEP and PEP so they can be treated. And so when we talk about the work that you're doing, each one of you are ambassadors of hope. Each one of you are ambassadors of change. Mahatma Gandhi and President Barack Obama brought it to life when he says, I want to be the change, I want to be the change that I want to see. And I believe that each and every one of you want to be the change. You want to be the change agent, or you went and is now inspired to go in this field. My sister, who has been a nurse for over 30 years, every patient is, I think, in her mind, is a member of our family. Because she's going to go over and beyond the call of duty to make sure they have the kind of health care they need. And during their last hours, she will stay with them until they take their last breath. Because why? Because she doesn't want them to feel that they are going all alone. And some of you will also be placed in that same position. So it has to be more than just a job. It has to be a lifestyle, a way of life. And so the leadership role I play as a member of the California legislature, it's a serious position. But it's a way of life for me. For someone who I give a damn about the title. But the title allows me to open up doors for my community, for this community, for those who are most vulnerable, for the 6th poorest district in the state of California district. It allows me to be their champion. It allows me to be their mouthpiece. It's allowed me to be the fighter for those who've been left for dead, those who've been labeled invisible, insignificant. It allows me to fight on behalf of those individuals. And I refuse to remain silent. I would never hope to be guilty of what Dr. Martin King articulated in his words. Silence is a form of betrayal. So, in closing, I'm just blessed to be here. I'm thankful, and I try my best to look each and every one of you in your eyes, even the ones who's nodding off. I try my best to look you in your eyes. So I want to remember each and every one of you. And let me tell you the reason why it's important for me. Because when my head hit the pillow tonight, whether or not I know your name, whether or not we connected by DNA or not, I want to remember each and every one of your faces in my prayers. That God will bless you beyond measure and make you the amazing individuals that you already are, and catapult each and every one of you to your level of greatness. That you understand your why. Your why is your purpose. Your why is what gets you out of bed each and every day when you don't feel like it. Your why generates the kind of energy that you need to hit those books, even though your eyes are tired, even though your hands are cramping up because you're writing so much. Your why is going to continue to push you to that next dimension, to that next level. And then when you graduate, then you will start to see all that you have worked and labored for is not in vain. is purposeful and it's meaningful. Not only just for you, not only just for your families, but for every person that you come in contact with, for every child that you come in contact with, for every mother and father that you come in contact with. You will be prepared to touch their lives in a most profound and dynamic way. This certificate of recognition is presented to Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science, Physician Assistance Program, on behalf of the California State Assembly. Thank you for your leadership and your commitment to advocating for health and improving the quality of life of those in your community and the residents of the 64th State Assembly District. Your commitment, you're to be commended. You're demonstrating your selfless dedication is to be commended. This day, December the 7th, 2017, signed by Mike Gipson, but let's not get it twisted, is given on behalf of the 500,000 people that I am so honored and blessed to represent in the California State Assembly.
All right, Mike.
Thank you. So, what are we doing now? Okay, is there any questions? Because I didn't do anything on this script, but is there, thank you, staff. Are there any questions you have for me? Yes. Can I find out what your name is?
Sorry, my name is Esther.
Esther.
And first I want to say thank you for coming today. And I want to ask about what are some of the current things that you're working on for this community that you hope to see in the near future?
I kind of said it earlier, and that is that creating jobs. Everyone, that man or woman that wants a job, then it's a job made available to them. Issues around healthcare, access to healthcare, affordable healthcare. There's some work that we need to do in the space of affordable drugs. We have an industry that is certainly continuing to price medicine. Is making it so unaffordable for people, especially those who live in disadvantaged communities, to afford to get medicine that they need in order to live a long, health and prosperous life. And so we're doing that. For someone like me, I grew up African-American family. Mother and father came from the South. I ate every animal there was, possibly because of my parents. And as a result of that, I realized that I was, I'm a pescatarian, have been for almost 16 years, come April. So I eat nothing that flies or walks on land, everything comes from the sea. I have health disparities in this district. I have food deserts in this district where we have fast foods that are not conducive and healthy. And we have very few healthy choices. So I want to work closely with cities to try to create farmers markets, restaurants that grow their own fruits and vegetables and bring it to the table so that people can eat it. It's important because in this community we have an alarming amount of individuals, African Americans and also Latinos, when it comes down to not only heart disease but also diabetes, which is growing rapid. And so we have to talk about how do we, in this community, begin to create some choices for people so they can reduce weight, but also incorporate exercise and live a whole, long, prosperous life like they were meant to live. And so we're doing a lot in the healthcare space. We will have, when we get back to Sacramento, talk about single payer, trying to address some issues there around single payer or universal health care, but making sure whatever happens in Washington, D.C., that we can protect as many of the million people in California. And those are the individuals who are mostly underserved, live in disadvantaged communities. And so we'll continue to work in this space. For this legislative body, have done some cutting-edge work around healthcare, around wages, things of that nature. So that's some of the stuff, and also around HIV and AIDS. It's very important to me that we do everything we can in this space. Thank you for your question. Yes. What's your name?
My name is Danielle.
Danielle.
So my question is regarding, like, so when we see something as students or after we're done, we're working in the field, we see something that's just not right, like this is just wrong. How do we, what's the best way to go about like making a change? Like, should we go through our, like, contact our state PAC and go to the PAC, or should we do petitions or letters? Like, what's the best way?
Well, one, never be accused of being guilty or remaining silent. Two, when I worked for SEIU, Service Employees International Union, and I was statewide political director for a healthcare local that represented Kaiser nurses, we wrote legislation about whistleblower protection. And so, specifically for healthcare professionals, we have whistleblower protection, we have whistleblower process set up. And so I would certainly encourage, if you see something that is wrong, that jeopardizes patient care, that you exercise that, because that's important, especially when it comes down to patient care. So I would, again, strongly encourage you to utilize those mechanisms that's in place, that is in fact part of California's law. Yes?
What was it that you decided to enter politics? I think you were in, I read that you were in law enforcement.
Yes, I was a police officer.
Can you discuss that a little bit?
I'm sorry, what's your question again?
When did you decide to enter politics, or what made you want to enter politics?
Wow, okay. Someone always asks me that question. Okay, so let me start from the beginning real quick. So politics is nothing I ever want to get into, right? I was someone who had a learning disability. I had a speech impediment growing up. But I always wanted to be a police officer. So as I was working towards being a police officer, my cousin on 92nd and Western was walking out of a liquor store, literally just walking out of a liquor store, caught a bullet, and he died. And my family put up $5,000 as a reward, and I saw a Latina named Gloria Molina, who was a city councilwoman in the city of Los Angeles, who put up a $25,000 reward for a Latino individual, a young man who was killed in her city council district. And I said, let me find out who my council member was. And my council member avoided me for 7 weeks. Wouldn't return my phone calls, wouldn't take a meeting with me. And so I began to stalk him. I stalked him. And we met. He put up the city of Los Angeles $5,000, matched our family's $5,000. And the reward went forth, and he offered me a job. That's my introduction into politics. At the same time, going through the police academy, I was 5th or 6th in my graduating class. I got an offer from the city of Maywood. I was the first and last African American hired in the history of the Maywood Police Department. Maywood Police Department no longer exists. Maywood was taken over, the law enforcement arm was taken over by the Los Angeles County Sheriffs. So when I left, and the reason why I left is because my partner was shot and killed in the line of duty. And so it was a time for me to look at another form of public safety, and I chose public policy to create the change that I want to see and have the implementation move forward through the various branches. And so as I described both of those incidents, one, my cousin was killed. The trajectory was getting involved into elected officials' offices. Then me working as a police officer, putting the political piece on hold, and then working as a police officer, and my partner was shot and killed. And then I came back full circle. That's how I got involved in this space. But you know what? I don't regret the decisions I've made, because I think I'm helping the people, and my heart is in it for that reason. Yes.
Hey. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. I'm
Good
good.
to see you.
Thank you for such a motivational talk. It's always great to hear that from you. But my question is along the lines of cross-sector collaboration. So we're learning that, you know, these coalitions and this work across different sectors has been really effective in advocacy work. What are your suggestions in bringing together collaborations between academic institutions and like government offices? How does that work?
I think it's very important. As a matter of fact, it was a timely question, because I just met in my office today with the superintendent of Compton Unified School District to talk about some concerns that I have in the school district, and pledge my support and my collaboration with him in order to make it better, to make it tighter, because I told him failure is not an option. It's not an option. The collaboration needs to begin, especially when you identify the need. Compton Community College, when I was elected in 2014, was probably in their 7th year of being taken over. And I told them, failure is not an option. We would not wait to 2024, as you had originally described, for Compton Community College to come out of receivership and place in the hands of the people. We're going to accelerate this, and we're going to make it right. And today, we've done that work for Compton Community College. Not only have their accreditation, they have the governing authority that the people vote for in terms of leadership. It's now empowered, it's now in control of that institution. The students there who went to school there can now have and transfer their credits back to Compton instead of El Camino. And I had to actually write a bill specifically to allow that to happen. Not to mention, to add a little cherry on top, I got them in this year's budget $11.3 million stabilization money, so we can stabilize the college so that they can be able to focus on the academics and also boosting their enrollment up, and also make it an attractive institution of higher learning for those communities that surrounds that college. And so collaboration is important. It's vital to the success of your agenda, my agenda, but most of all, moving people forward and lifting the standard of people's lives up. And so I certainly encourage collaboration. My office has a great relationship with this university and will continue as long as I'm in office. That's why it was important to deal with the Cal Grant eligibility piece when I first was elected. We got the governor to sign that, because this university said, Mike, we need to do this because we need to stop the hemorrhage, and this is the way we can do it. And so we got it done. We moved it through the Assembly legislative process, moved it through the Senate, and it was on the governor's desk, and the governor signed that particular bill, not only for Drew, but also for all campuses in California, such as this have a specialized and unique scope of practice. And so, again, the collaboration is rich. Dr. Carlisle, the board of directors, or even the faculty have access to me to have a conversation with me, to bring me there. Same way at the school that I have concerns with, the superintendent of Compton. I said, I'm going to have a meeting with the principal at that school that you put there, but I'm also going to meet with the faculty. Because what you're telling me, I have no reason to doubt you, but I want to hear from the faculty as well. Because that's where the rubber really meets the road. And that's where I want to be able to be engaged. And from there, to come back to them and say, I understand this, we need to fix this, and we need to fix this now. because I don't want kids to be uneducated. I want every child that goes to a Compton school to have the best education that money can pay for. And just because you live in Compton should not be a mark against you. Just because you live in Watts should not be a mark against you. And so we're going to open up those doors. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi.
What's your name?
Lindsay. I'm
Lindsay.
the Associate Director for the program. No, I'm good. They have to listen to me talk all the time. They know I can talk loud. So, one of the reasons why we asked you to come here today is that the students continually ask me, I don't know why they don't ask you because you're standing here now, but how do we get involved in the legislative process? We want to be involved in helping make these changes. But we don't know where to start. And so if we're interested, where do we even begin to learn about the process, to get involved, to learn what issues we can help with?
Well, I think the first step is inviting me here. Then two is, one, because I hear the need, is to, one, press upon you to understand I don't have a corner of all the great ideas. Sorry. Most of my bill ideas come from the community. And so if you have an ideal, it could be health related or not, then we invite you to correspond with me so that I can shoot to Sacramento to my legislative team so they can look at the language with the legislative office or the Ledge Council and see if there's not a bill, see how we can, it doesn't interfere with constitutionality and law, and see how we can make that become a law in California if there's a need, right? Let me give you an example. When I got elected in 2014, my first bill was Assembly Bill 835. Assembly Bill 835, I've coined it to be called Say-Say's Law. And I wish that Say-Say was here. I wish that he could stand right next to his daddy. And hopefully I can continue to be an example for him. But he was killed at 3 years old in front of my wife by hit-and-run motorists. Today she's still at large. But California had a law that if you kill someone with your vehicle by running them over, they had a 3-year statute of limitations, which means if you find them and 3 years has already passed, you can't touch them. You can't prosecute them at all. What? You gonna kill somebody and hit them and run and to avoid being captured and prosecuted or rendering aid to them, and you walk free? Yes. But that was important for me to change that law. And so we have no statute of limitation today. It's the reason why even around rape, we had a 10-year statute of limitation on rape in California. I had to sit with a woman who was raped 11 years ago. She had to be confronted with the perpetrator almost every day that she stopped by the gas station, because he also stopped at the gas station. And every time he saw her and she saw him, he would smile and grin and taunt her with that grin, with that smile. And so it was important for me to remove that loophole that I said is a loophole in the law, to remove the statute of limitation, to simply say that any time someone rapes is a victim of rape, no matter how long it takes, no matter what rock you crawl from under, once we find you, we'll prosecute you to the full extent of the law, just as we were to catch you the very next day, because that is the right thing to do. And so, your advocacy by communicating with me as a state representative or a member of Congress or your city council member, it just doesn't stop with me, is you being engaged so that they would know who you are, so they would know about your ideals, that you're advocating on behalf of something that benefit the people that we serve. That's how the collaboration works. It's you identifying who your city council member is. It's you emailing them to introduce yourself. It's you doing the same thing for your county board of supervisors, member of Congress, your assembly member, and state senator. I don't think that leave anybody out. Mayor. Say, hey, my name is Mike Gipson. I live blah, blah, blah. I'm one of your residents, your community. I just want you to say, this is who I am. This is what I'm studying. I don't want you to contact me because I'm going to continue to contact you. And then also, they love when I do this. Would you please respond to me within 5 working days that you received this? And let them acknowledge that they've received it. They took time to read it. Because if they get down to the last paragraph, please, respond to me in 5 days you received it, then you know they read it, right?
Start doing that.
And you start doing that. You start doing that, right? That's how you engage them, to let them know that you are significant, you are important, you are a major stakeholder in this community, and you care enough that you're reaching out to the policymakers. And so when there's something that's going wrong, you can say, you know what, I work for this hospital, and I'm this, I'm a physician assistant, and this is what's going on here, this is not right. I've already blew the whistle, but now I want our representative to know as well. So I'm going to CC all our representatives. Because why? It's because you refuse to be guilty of remaining silent. So it's important that you have contact and don't hesitate to say, you know what, can you please come here? We want to meet you, we want to see you, we want to touch you. And if you're good, you may have somebody singing to you or walking down. So thank you. Dr. Z.
One thing I can say is that you've always been a champion for the people. And what I've heard is from the very day I met you, and it's about dealing with bullets. I'm going to use that because that's the term being coined now. I call them assholes. And it's unfortunate that bureaucracies have become assholes. And I'm listening to everyone here. How do I do this? How do I form the complaint? How do I act? Well, one of the things is you can't be silent. Now, that was the most powerful thing I heard tonight, is you can't be silent. People are so intimidated behind losing their jobs and what have you. They will sit and take that go when and you giving up your power. I'm not going down that way. I know how to use power.
And you have.
Yes, I have. Because I remember a young man before he was married, right on the corner of Vermont and Florence, advocated by the name of Mike Gipson, along with Karen Bass and Ronald Beavers and Peggy Toy, and had a horse out there, and we were advocating for policy about changing tobacco policies for health disparities. Right. I remember that. You know how long ago that was? 25 years. And you have never given up your ideology and your philosophy.
Thank you.
One of the things that I'm really seeing here, and I just love this part, is that you can deal on all levels, from the state senate to the assembly, but you're not scared to hit the sidewalks of Washington. Listen to what others got to say who you serve. That is the most powerful thing that anyone in position can do. is don't be afraid to walk where you serve. We have bureaucracy, people and folks and institutions that are scared to come out of their towers and hit the sidewalks. And the only thing they get is hire a damn consulting team to tell them what they need to do. And all they got to do is get off their ass and hit the sidewalk.
And let me say, certainly Dr. Ronald Beavers has been someone who has spoken truth to power. As a result of that, as much as that power has pushed, he has remained faithful and vigilant to what he believed in. And as a result of that, change came. Sometimes change is slow, but change will come. And so I want to thank you very much for that, for just one, again, being the David against the Goliath. And believe me, sometimes it may not seem like it'll pay off, but if you hang in there, right, it absolutely will. And if it doesn't, then you call me. And we'll work it out together. One of the things that I go to a physical fitness team in the morning, so I was listening to KGLH radio station, Stevie Wonder radio station, and Congresswoman Maxine Waters was on there talking about all that's going on in Washington, D.C. at number 45, and there is people trying to recall her. And I remember growing up and seeing how she represented this Watts community when she represented Watts, and how this little thin lady, when she was first elected to Congress, that's what it was, Congress. I knew her, she was a state assemblywoman. There are seats in the front row of Congress that only senior members sit in. Watch where I'm going. She came down the aisle and she sat in those seats, in one of those seats. And the House clerk said, Member Waters, can you sit 3 rows back? Because these are for senior members. And her response was, I will not. I was elected just like everyone else in this Congress. And I will sit anywhere I damn well please. Speaking truth to power. Not retreating, but advancing on what you believe in and staying true to you. That is important. And today she's a national icon because of the work that she started right here in this community, representing this community. I think she's a role model, and I think her life is a testament not only for every woman, but also for every man, on how to stand up for those in your community and also stand up for yourself as well. Is there one last question before I have to leave? You've been amazing. Thank you so much, and God bless each and every one of you. And also my team, Diana Mandel, who's with me, she's rolling with me, she's part of my team. My district director is Mr. Chris Wilson. I think that's all we have today. So thank you very much again. You guys are blessed, and I can't wait to go home, tell my family, and put it in Facebook.
And we just wanted to say thank you to you. I know they rearranged, I don't know if you know this, but they also rearranged your schedule to get you here, and I know we weren't on your schedule initially, but I kept emailing and emailing. I didn't have to, so thank you, Diana, and thank you so much. We're really blessed to have you as our assembly member and as part of our CDU PA family. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you so much.